So yesterday and day before yesterday, there was a recap of the React. So day 20, I did on 17th October, and it was a recap of React. So it was React Basics Part 1, and day 21 was 18th October. And it was the project, simple project. It was React recap again. So for example, it was use effect and the project things I like. So it is similar to do. I just change the name things I like. So otherwise, the function is similar to the to do app which we did previously. So today is day 22, 19th October. So as usual, we'll start with the object-oriented JavaScript. Then we'll do some problems, and then we'll go with the React again. Okay, so let's move to the object-oriented JavaScript first. So let me open a new tab. We did the functions previously, and today we'll move further in the functions. Let me write down here. So today we'll see self-invoking functions. Self-invoking functions are, it's kind of invoked itself. So what we are doing, we are writing a function and we invoke it immediately. Okay, so we don't wait for it to be called. We don't name it. We make it anonymous function and we call it immediately. So this is called self-invoking functions. So for example, we start with the round bracket and I start the function inside. So this is my function, and I put something alert something. Now what I'll do, instead of just writing the function, I'll invoke it. Invoke it means we call the two round brackets. So we invoke it immediately. So this is called the self-invoking function because we write anonymous function because it has no name and we invoke it immediately. So when I enter it, you will see it has called the function immediately. So now just remember that we write anonymous function and we execute immediately like this. We can also pass parameter in that. Okay, so first I'll say simply place an anonymous function definition inside the parenthesis. So I wrote the definition inside this parenthesis, followed by another set of parentheses. So what I'm doing, I create one parenthesis and I write the function anonymous function, and then I call the another parenthesis to invoke it. So this is called self-executing function. The second set which says, second set means this part says execute now, and is also the place to put any parameters that your anonymous function might accept. For example, I create another self-invoking function, and in this case I am taking a name parameter, and then inside the body I'll say hello, alert, hello, and I'll say name. I concatenate with the variable name, and I give exclamation just for the fun. And then after this parenthesis, I call another parenthesis, and here, since it expects the name, I'll pass the name, dude. So what it will do, it will take this parameter and as a name, and it will call hello alert, hello name. So here also we're calling the anonymous function with the parameter. Now, what is the reason to create this? One good reason for using self-invoking function is to have some work done without creating global variable. So let's say your application, you want to run something one time when the page load or when that part loads. So you can call the function without creating the global variable or using any other variable. Just this is a self-sufficient function which is called one time only when you want to use that function. You cannot execute, since it does not have any name, it executes immediately. You cannot execute it twice unless you load the page again. But since you don't want to load the page and you want to call only one time that setup, you cannot execute it twice. So this is best suited, this function is best suited for one or initial task. So you want to do one time task or initial task, then you can use the self-invoking function. Since it does not have the name, you cannot call it from anywhere. It will be called where it is placed and where it is executed immediately. It will not be called from any other place. Okay, so this is about the self-invoking function. Let's do now the problem. One second. Okay. So we are done with the object-oriented concept. Today's concept was only about self-invoking function. We create like this, and we put in the parenthesis, and we call another parenthesis to make this execute immediately. We can pass parameter also, and this is used for one-time task or initial task. And you will see many examples of this function. Let's say you want to call some setup that before the application do something, I want to set up all the parameters kind of thing, or means I have to call something, I have to say something, I have to initialize something. So I use this one. Okay, so this is about self-invoking function. Okay, now we completed palindrome last time. Let's see today another problem called as FizzBuzz. This is a very simple problem. I'm going with simple problems, and then the problems will become very complicated, and then it will be very difficult to understand those because those may have lot of complexities, and every function which we do later requires lot of concentration to understand those functions. But these simple functions are very straightforward, and you don't have to use brain to do that, but just a thought process. And for our repository purpose, I am just writing the simple functions first. So this is called the FizzBuzz. So here we pass, what is the requirement? We have n number, and we have to loop through n number, and whenever we see number 3 or multiple of 3, we have to print fizz. And whenever we see number 5 or multiple of 5, we print buzz. And whenever we have a number three and 5, means it should be multiple of 3 and 5. Whenever we have multiple of a number 3 and 5, then we print FizzBuzz. So this is the simple task which we have to do. So we'll create a function FizzBuzz, and we pass the number so I take the number here. So since it is saying loop through, so that means we have to start with the for loop. So I'll start with for loop, let I equal to 0. Since I have to start with the 1, it's something from the 1 to that number. So I'll start with I with 1, and I less than equal to number, and then I'll do I plus plus. So it is for loop. And if I see it's a 3 or multiple of 3, so that means it is I %3. %3 I use where that means it is the mod symbol, and it finds the remainder. It means if I do 3%3, that means it will divide 3 by 3, and what is the remainder? 0. So it will give me 0. This is called mod operator. It gives the remainder. So if I say 4%3, that means we divide by 4 divided by 3. So the remainder is 1. Whatever value is, we don't care. We care about the remainder. So when I do 4 divided by 3, I get the remainder of 1. So the answer to this will be 1. So I check if I %3, because I want to see if it is multiple of 3. So to check the multiple of 3, we always use the mod operator and divide by 3 and see if it is 0 or not. If remainder is 0, that means it is multiple of 3. So if it is 0, then I will here do console.log of fizz. So whenever it is multiple of 3, we do console.log of fizz. Else if whenever there is multiple of 5, then I will do console.log of buzz. And third case is either it should be multiple of 3 and 5 both. Not either. It should be multiple of 3 and multiple of 5. So I cannot put that in the last use case because that will never come. Either it will go here or here and it will not go to the third case. So I'll put that at the top. If here I'll put else. So here it will be I % of 3 equal to 0. And it should also be multiple of 5, like 15. 15 is multiple of 3 also and 5 also. If I divide by 3, remainder 0, and if I divide by 5, it is also 0. So that case should come here. Sorry, %5 equal to 0. Then we do console.log of FizzBuzz. That's it. So simple problem, and in all other case I have to do in all other case I have to do, so I'll use else. In all other case I'll do console.log of I, that is whatever the number we pass, what is the number we have this one in the loop. So this is a function, and then I'll run it FizzBuzz, and I pass, for example, 25. So it will go through all the numbers from 1 to 25, and it will print fizz for the all multiple of 3, 5 for all multiple of 5, FizzBuzz for all multiple of 3 and 5. So you will see it. I can get 1, 2 because those are simple number. Once I get 3, I get fizz. Once I get 5, it is buzz. Then 6 is a multiple of 3, so I get buzz. 9, 10 is a buzz. 12 is a fizz. 15 is fizz buzz. And 24 is fizz. 25 is buzz. So this is the FizzBuzz function. I'll write down. I'll create the file and also commit it for you. So I go to the JavaScript folder and I'll create a new file. Since it will be only one version, I'll write down that directly. So problem is FizzBuzz. This is the question. So I can write little more directions here. So this same thing what I did, but this is some formatted one. And then I'll put this function there. So you can practice there, this function. Okay, so I put this function here. And then I call this function like this. Okay. I call this function like this. Then I'll get what you saw in the screen. So this one was about FizzBuzz, and now we'll start with the React. Let me see. So every day, the question is, are we learning JavaScript or React? So the answer is, every day we will every day we will learn something of object-oriented JavaScript and something of the problems and React. And fourth part I will start soon in few days, not exactly, I don't know the date, the Node.js also. So every day we will touch all this four part of the JavaScript. Because this part is very big, every day if we could do something, so you will get idea of what object-oriented JavaScript there. So for interview purpose and for your real project, you need those concepts before you become really the good JavaScript person. And these problems also are asked in interview, so I want to refresh about 500 to 1000 problems. So we are doing those problems. And then we'll touch React also, Node.js also every day. Node.js we haven't started yet, but we'll start soon. I'll let you know when I start. Okay. So this one was the idea. Now we'll start with the React. So today we'll start the React project. That project will be having multiple projects. So I'll be building 1000 and more than 1000 projects. Limit is not there. And for that, we will create one new project in the ReactJs, and we'll be doing all all things in there, and I won't be committing that project. If you want to do that project, you have to copy this video, you have to watch this video again and write down manually all the code. Okay, I won't be. So for example, I'll create a folder. Let me create the npx one. So 1 second, let me copy that npx one. So I'll create that folder, and that folder will not be committed in the Git, because those are the real projects and people will try to copy it. I don't want you to copy. I want you to just see the video and write it yourself. Okay, so it is this. Let me create a project. ReactJs. So it will be called as complete project, complete React project. This is the big folder only. I'll be creating all 1000 projects in this folder. Okay, so all the projects will be inside this project because it needs a lot of setup time, and we will not do that setup again. We'll do setup one time in this project. Okay, so this is the complete React. Yes, this video will be shared in the group, and you can watch again and again to repeat your to write the code. And there will be few code which I will be sharing, because let's say I have some CSS or some example HTML and which I don't want you to write down. That I will commit it, and I will commit in the folder called as assets. So in this assets folder, whatever I feel that you should copy paste in your code, because it is a lengthy code and it does not have real real importance in writing down, or there is some images which I want to share, or anything which I want to share, which is which I feel that is good for you to copy, then I will put it in the assets folder that will be shared. But this complete React folder will not be shared. Okay, let's create this complete React. So I will write down the steps also. In the assets one, I will create one README file. Here, whatever I do, I will try to put the steps which I am doing so that you can follow those steps. But all steps will not be there. So you have to copy, you have to see the video also. I hope everyone might have downloaded the MongoDB, because MongoDB will be used in the backend. Though I will not call the MongoDB directly, I will use the ParseServer, and the ParseServer in backend called the MongoDB. So you should have MongoDB installed and running in your computer. I don't know Ubuntu. I never use Ubuntu. So you have to research yourself about Ubuntu. Okay, so when we install on the Linux machine, I just use the command. But yeah, I just used I did not use it for my local development Ubuntu, but I have installed in the Ubuntu, and then that installation is similar to the Mac one, or you have to check the documentation. So the MongoDB and all is similar. What I did it in Mac also, so it is similar in Mac, but you have to check the documentation to do that. I will show Windows here, and Mac one is you can refer the document. Though I have done installation in Mac also, but Mac is something I cannot show it now in the Mac, but it is similar. You can see the documentation and all how you install in Mac, all the application. It is easy. You just have DMG file. You have to just install the DMG file. Okay, so now I will show you the installation of the MongoDB. Though I have already installed it, so it will not be. I will not install it again, but I will start the installation process and delete it and stop it. So let me open the MongoDB installation. Okay, I don't have, I think, MongoDB installation. So let me go through here and we'll try again. So here, when you go to MongoDB/download, you will go to this page. Here it's saying cloud. If you use cloud, you will be having limited space and you will be paying to them to use that. So it is better you download it locally and you can use unlimited usage of MongoDB, and you can use as much space as you want. And this enterprise is paid one. Don't go with the enterprise one. Just go to the community one. And here you have all other platforms. You have to choose the documentation for each of this platform which you want to use, and just download it. So it is downloading here. So once it gets download, I will start that download, and then we'll go see the initial step before I stop it. So this one is needed. MongoDB state till it gets installed, saved. We'll go with the steps of. Okay, so the steps of our project. So this is a project called as Complete React. Okay. So whatever So whatever we do React will go into this complete React folder, and I'm just removing this complete React folder. Okay, so I'm ignoring this folder complete React. So we have getting done. Okay. So also I need to install the ParseServer, and ParseServer is a server running locally in my Node.js environment. It will be run locally, and we need to install ParseServer also. So along with MongoDB, once MongoDB will install, I will install the ParseServer here. And all these initial steps are one time. We will not do this again for this project. And this complete React will have all the projects, 1000 projects in it. So we will may not doing for every project, will not be doing this installation. This installation is only one time. If you forget, or if you delete your folder, then go back to this video again to see the installation steps. Okay, so let me see MongoDB is installed or not. Okay, so keep it, and then let me go to download folder. Okay, let me install the MongoDB installation. 1 second. So I'm installing this MongoDB here. So I will go to the next. I'll accept it. I'll go to next. So here you can choose complete, or let's select the custom, and then you can choose the folder where you want to save it. Right now it's in the C drive, but you can choose different one or wherever you want to keep it. Okay, so and then you have to click the next button. So here it is saying MongoDB as a service. We need to install as a service because when you restart your computer, it will automatically start, and just keep this same run service as a network service user. No need to change anything. Just keep every setting same thing. And also install this Compass. Don't uncheck this. Install MongoDB Compass also. Okay, so this will help you to see in a visual way what are the database or what are the tables in your MongoDB is there. So keep this also there and just click the next. Once you click the next, it will install it on your machine and it will start as a service. So I'll not click next because I have already installed in my computer. So I don't need to do that, but you have to do that if you have not done it. And once it is done, it will start it and then you can use it. Okay, so I'll cancel it now. Okay, so you have to install the MongoDB. So how does this MongoDB looks? Let's see. I'll show you the Compass where I can show you the MongoDB. We will be doing separate MongoDB small learning project in Node.js, but right now we are doing the ParseServer, and for ParseServer we need this MongoDB. So if you use Firebase is also good tool and it has many functionalities on hand. But the problem with Firebase is that you have to pay a lot more money for the space and the query which you do on the Firebase. But if you do ParseServer and MongoDB, all is in your own environment and you don't have to pay extra to the Firebase. So this is something kind of, and this I'll click the connect. So this is something, this is something good for you, because you can put as much space as you want. So we have this database. This is something I just created dummy for testing purpose. I'll be creating complete React for our project, and you can see all this database is there, and we can go inside it once, and we can check what is there. So these are the collection name inside this, and you can see a lot more when we start building. So this is all about MongoDB. We don't need to care about much on this compass now, but when we'll do that one. So right now I'm in the basic setup steps for our complete project, this complete React project, and it will take, this basic steps will go for 2-3 days, because there are a lot more steps inside this complete React app also, which we have to achieve before we really jump into and start our project. First we have to do the setup, and I highly encourage you to do the setup every day what I'm doing, so that if you have any problem, I can help, or if something new problem is there which I haven't seen it, you can Google it also to get resolve those problem. Because this web world is so big, whatever problem you get, it may not be to me or any other person. So we have to Google the problems which we don't know. Okay, so that we'll do later. So before going to the React setup, we'll install the ParseServer. So how to install the ParseServer? So we'll see the steps. I'll create a folder, and I'll name it as ParseServer. I can name it anything which I want. So this will be running separately from my React one. So I have to do npm start at 2 levels, one at the ParseServer and at the React level. So 2 npm will start parallelly, one for the server, that will be the ParseServer, and another one for the complete React, that is for our front-end application. So this ParseServer is considered as a back-end application, and React will be the front-end. And we don't need any backend code to write down. So once we install the ParseServer, we don't have to write the code to add our record in the database or delete it. Everything will be done by React application. So this ParseServer will handle everything for us. So we don't have to write any other code in the backend for any of our activities. Okay, so let's go and install the ParseServer. So what we have to do for the ParseServer, I will go to the folder of the ParseServer. So here I have to say npm start. Oh, sorry, npm, we have not done anything and we are writing npm start. So here I have to say npm init. So ParseServer is a Node.js application. Whenever we have to start the Node.js application, we have to use npm init, and we have to start from there. And it will install something. It will ask me some questions, and it will install the package.json file. So what you want to name the server? So I'll say I'm okay with the default value. Just keep going. Enter. We don't have to change anything. And we say yes. So once I do yes in the end, you will see a package.json file has been created. Okay, so this package.json file is created with some key value pairs. Now we have to install ParseServer here. So what we'll do, I'll open the terminal again. So I'll install some packages and pay attention to the packages which I'll be putting. I'll put the npm command here. I'm just writing down what I did. Okay, so this is the steps which I did. I am writing those steps. So I'll name it as installation of ParseServer. So what packages I have to put it? Look here. So when I'll say npm install, save. So I'll say save express. So this is the express is the Node.js application which helps us to serve the pages to the user. Then I'll say ParseServer. This is for the ParseServer. And next one will be Parse dashboard. So this Parse dashboard will help us to see all our data in my ParseServer. So we have to install these things. I'll put it inside installation, and I'll also install save dev. I'll also install NodeMon. This NodeMon is used for if I do any changes in my application, it will help us in restarting the server without me to stop the server and restart, because whenever I do some changes in my code, I have to stop the server, restart it. NodeMon will avoid that. But since ParseServer is one time, we'll not be setting up again and again or changing the ParseServer. So I'll not install NodeMon now, but I'll keep it in the README. Maybe in future we can use that also feature, this functionality of NodeMon. But right now I'll not do that, because we will be doing one-time setup and we don't need again any changes in my application in ParseServer. So I'll not put the NodeMon now. Okay, but I'll keep it for record. We may add it sometime in future. So there are few more packages which I will be installing in future, which I will tell you later when we go to that functionality. Right now we are not reached to that functionality, so I have not put those things here. So we need only these three things. I'm installing this now. It's going on. All these packages. Let's add also installation of ReactJs, which we did. So what we did, we run the we go to folder ReactJs, whatever folder you have for ReactJs, run the command npx create React app and app name, whatever name you want to give. And here also I'll add few packages in shortly. And this installation step will go for 2-3 days. I already told you. So just remember that one. So we'll not start the project today because we will install a lot of things before we really start our project. So every day there will be time for JavaScript, then problems, then ReactJs and Node.js. Node.js I haven't started it, but I'll start it soon. So from 1st November, the time will be from 8:30 p.m. to 9:30 p.m. Indian Standard Time, because here in California it will be daylight saving, and we get the change of the time. So here, if it is 7, right now it is 7:30 in the evening in India. But from November 1, when it's 7 here, it will be 8:30 in India. Okay, so that's how it will work. But then later in March, again the time will be reverting. So it changes time 2 times in a year. Okay, so once it is installed, okay, by the time it installed, we will work on the more steps kind of thing. So since if you see the package.json file, we have the main file as index.js. So let's create the index.js file. Sorry. Okay, let's go to the ParseServer and create a new file, index.js file. So in this index.js file, I will write the code one time only. This is the setup one, and I will put this in the Git also. You can take it and copy this, because this is something you can copy, because we this setting one time setup. So you can do it, copy it also. Okay, so we will install it, the ParseServer here. So go through, see the steps properly. So I'll use Express. We call the Express because it is a server and it serves the pages to the user. So first step is to call the Express. I'm writing the Node.js code. So in Node.js, whenever we want to call some file, we use the require. In React, we use import, right? In the ES6. Here, import will not work. We have to use the require. Now, I will call the ParseServer. And then inside this ParseServer, I have to call the specifically ParseServer. Okay, now next line is we have to call the Parse dashboard also to see what is there in data in my Parse dashboard. I will also require the path. This is used to see what are the path in my application. You don't need to worry now all these path and all these things. So this is set up. You don't have to remember. You don't have to do anything. Just see the steps and do it in your repository, and then we are good to go. Then I'll use app equal to express. I could have used constant in all the cases, but the documentation which I took, it's a little old and they use var, so I'm keeping it var as per the documentation. Okay. So this app is the main core of this file. It uses the Express. Express is something which helps us to create the server in Node.js. Now next step is database. We have to specify database URL. Since we have installed the Mongo, there is a specific path of MongoDB, which is this one. Try to say localhost, and it starts in the port of 27017. So these are the default port which MongoDB takes. And here you have to specify the database. You can put anything, any name. So for example, I'll say complete React. You can take anything, whatever you want to save your data in any database. So this will be the database name where all the data will be saved. This is the server URL which I will use in my app. Okay, so this is the server URL. I'll say http localhost 1337 Parse. So this will be the user server URL. Now next will be the API. This will be the ParseServer setup. So I'll say new ParseServer. Inside that it takes an object. So object will be, I have to use database URI. So this will take the database URI. I can hard-codedly put this also here, or I can use this variable. Okay, second is cloud. So we have to specify the cloud folder. So I'll put directory name plus I'll say cloud, and I have to specify which file, and all cloud should start in the main.js. Okay, so I'll put main.js. So since I need this cloud folder and main.js, I have to create new folder inside the ParseServer cloud folder, and inside cloud folder I will create a file main.js. Okay, so now let's go further. So I'll come back to that server URL. Since we are doing, we will see where it is used. So when you go to live in your virtual host or in your dedicated server, this URL will be the URL which you can, which you get public URL. You can put that URL here. Now we have to put the app ID. This app ID is up to you. Whatever the app ID you want to put, blah, 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 you can put it. And you have to access that same app ID in the React. So I'll say my app ID. I put just for dummy. For this is a learning, so we can put anything, simple one. And this is a master key. This master key should be on the server only. This should not be on the React side. This is the master key which helps us to be as an admin of the ParseServer, and you can do anything with this master key, any changes using the master key. But for our purpose, we will not need master key. This is something, if you want to write an backend application to manipulate the data, we will use that one when we use the backend application. So for example, if I'm the Facebook admin, someone is putting bad data. To delete that data, I need the master key to delete that data. Or we can directly go to the ParseServer without master key and delete that one. That I'll show you later. And here I have to put the server URL. Keep the, case letter as I have shown you. If you do small URL, it will not work. This variable can be anything, but this key should be the same, which I am putting like this. Okay, so now I'll put this server URL here. I could have written this server URL directly here. It's okay, that's also fine. Put the server URL here. Okay, so now this is all setup of the ParseServer. Let's go further. Now, for any static files, I will use following code. I'll say app.use, and I will put the folder which will be serving as the static file folder. And I'll say express.static, and I'll give the path.join here, and I'll join current dir name with public. So basically what this line means, I'll create a folder called as public. So, anything, which I wanted public to view it, I will make this as a static. I will use this public folder for all my assets, images file. It will go into the public one. Okay, next will be calling the parse. Since we created this configuration, we need to use this configuration for our parse application. So I will say app.use/parse, and I will say API. What configuration I'm passing? This configuration I'm passing. So whenever user go to this URL parse, then all the things will be handed to the ParseServer, and ParseServer will automatically do whatever it wants, whatever it is called for. Next, I will put some options here. And this is for dashboard settings. Okay, so now I'll say allow insecure HTTP equal to false. So we will see what this configuration is needed for the dashboard settings. So right now, whatever the documentation say, I have to check what exactly it's doing. If I pass through, and we'll see what it does when we run and see what it is run. So it looks like about HTTP or HTTPS, but really it works or no, we have to check it. I never tested with true value, but we can check that in future. So, and here I will create the dashboard, and dashboard will be new parse dashboard. And here I have to pass the options in the JSON format, key value pair. So I'll say apps. So first parameter is apps, which is an array. And second parameter is users, which is also an array. So let's put the apps. Apps has an object. And in this object, I'll again put server URL. And it will be nothing but this server URL. and then I will put app ID, which is nothing but this app ID, and then it would say master key. It is nothing but this master key, and then you have to put the name of your application. I'll say complete React app, for example. So this is my apps setting, and let's go to the user setting. So here you have to specify the user who can access this dashboard. Okay. So in the user, in this one, I have to specify the user and password. I'll say user. So whatever user you want to give, you can give. Maybe you can give your email also. Gmail.com. Give any user which you want, and also pass the password. This you can put secure password, but I am putting right now simple password to access this dashboard. So user can only access the dashboard. And then there is a trust proxy which you have to set as 1. Okay, so this is the first set of options in the Parse dashboard, and it will take another parameter also. So after this, I have to pass the options which I have kept here, these options. So I have to pass this option as a second parameter. Okay, so this one was the first parameter, and this one is the second one. Now I created this dashboard and I have to use in this app. So I'll say whenever app.use, and whenever user go to dashboard URL, it will call this dashboard settings. So whenever user go to dashboard in the URL, it will go to this Parse dashboard. Okay, so this is all we did for the dashboard. So now I will set some routing for us to access it. So to create the routing, don't worry about exactly what routing works, how we will do later when we do Node.js in detail. So right now just say app.get. When user goes to /path, at that path I will do something. When user go to /URL, I will put another routing also. When user go to test in the URL, it will go do something here, whatever I will write it here. Okay, so these two things we will fix it now in a minute. I will put the port. Generally, all the port of ParseServer goes to 1337. You can change it to whatever you want, but this is the preferable path for all the ParseServer. Then I'll say HTTP server. This is my server equal to this. I'll say require HTTP dot create server, and I'll pass the app. So I call the HTTP and I create the server, and I call app, which will take all this configuration in my server. Then I say HTTP server dot listen. So I'll put the port, and here I'll put the function. And in this function, I'll say console.log. ParseServer is running on port, and here I'll give the port name, which port I have. So this once my ParseServer is started, in the console.log here, you will see this statement. And after this is done, we have to start the live query. Live query is the most interesting feature of the ParseServer. It is also used in the Firebase, but Firebase does not have the name of live query, but it has also the feature. So this live query, I will start the live query. So I'll say ParseServer create live query server, and I'll pass the server HTTP server which I created here. I'll pass this server here live query. So what does this live query do? Live query can push the data from the server to the front end if data has changed. So for example, you are making a chat application and user types something and put it on the server. The other user whom he is chatting, he gets that message immediately without being called by the other user. So it is pushed from the server to the user. So if I type something, if A is chatting with B, A write a message hello world, it will go to the server and server will push that hello world message to the B. So B will immediately see that message. B does not have to refresh the page to get the message, or B does not have to call the AJAX call again to get the message. So it uses a socket connection to retrieve the data. So that is what the fun of the live query is. So this is all we did. Now let's fix these two things. So when user go to /URL, I will get here request and response always, and then I will just send some message to the user, rest.send. I will send something, ParseServer is up again, something like that. So when user go to this URL, you will see this message. Okay. When user go to test one, I will say rest.send file. I will send the file to the user. And what is the file? Path.join. I will create that file, dir name, and I'll join with /public/test.html. So this is a file which will be shown to the user. So I'll create this file now in the public folder, test.html. And this content of test.html I got from some internet, and it's a very big one, and I just put that here. So just you have to also put it there. So let me put that. So you don't have to worry about what is it in test.html. This is something for testing. I'll show you how it looks like. So if I see this folder, public folder, sorry, we will go reveal in Explorer. So this is something ParseServer. This is public folder. So we have test file here in this one. So also this test file, this public folder needs some assets, some images which are present in this test.html. So these two things I got from internet. It's not written by me. This is for just testing my ParseServer if it is working or not. So I just put this assets folder also. You can get it from Git repo once I commit it. Okay, so this is something. Assets folder has some CSS images and JS which was put by some person on internet. Okay, so I'll just use that one to see if my ParseServer is running or not. So this is all about the setup of my ParseServer. I'll go through again, and then I'll run the ParseServer and show you how it works. For today, it will be the last thing which we'll do. So I set up the Express, I call the ParseServer, I call the Parse dashboard, I call the path, I created the app with the Express, this Express. I put the database URL. This will be the common for you also. All MongoDB uses the same. Only thing you can change the database name, which is this one. Locally, your server URL will be this one, unless you go to the production or virtual host or dedicated host. You put the settings of the Parse server. You mention the public folder. You created the parse call. You created the options. You created the dashboard, and you use the dashboard. Then we have the get route of test and normal route, and then we created the server and we created the live query. Live query is the most fun part of the Parse server and which everyone enjoys, and that's the reason I'm using Parse server, because of this live query. If I use MongoDB, I will not get this benefit, and so this is the fun of the Parse server. Okay, so this is all about index.js. Let's go to package.json file again and do some changes. I don't need the test script. I'll delete it. And here I'll put another line called a start. So when user will run npm start, he will go to node index.js file. Right now I have to go to node index.js manually, but since I put start here, so whenever I say npm start, it will call this node index.js. So either I can call on the command line node index.js, or I say npm start. It's one and the same thing. So I'll save it and I'll close this package.json. Let's start the Parse server and see if it is working or not, or it gives some error, so we can fix that error if we get. So I'll say npm start. So once I say npm start, you will see node.index.js is called as I mentioned in package.json. Okay, so we get one error. So this error is there because the reason is I may be using this port. Yeah, I'm using this port in my another terminal, and that's the reason we got this error. We'll start again. I close that terminal. So let's see now. Okay, so now the message which I put in the index.js. What is the message I put? I put the message here, ParseServer is running on this port. Same thing you are seeing, ParseServer is running on the port 1387. And we also see Parse live server starts running. So this also is running properly. So this is the one which I like very much about the ParseServer. Now let's go to the browser and do localhost 1337. So if you see in the slash URL, I put the ParseServer is up again. I put this message. If I do the test one, so this res is not defined. We missed something. Let's go and fix it. So always when we go to test, I need two things: request and response. So I forgot to put res. So it's here. So let's start the server again. Okay, so now again server is running. Let's go here and refresh the page. So here the test file which I put it is running here. Since I did not put anything in the cloud one, it may not work, but let's see this one. So when I click first one, this one is working fine, giving me correct output. When I click second one, this is working fine. Let's take this one. Since I did not put anything in the cloud one, So it's giving me this, it's not working properly. So let's try to put something in the cloud to see how it works. So for example, I have some dummy code. You don't have to worry about the cloud now. We may write some code in the cloud when the time will come. But right now, don't worry about the cloud. Let me put something in the cloud and we'll check again. So this is some dummy code, hello world code. I just put it and we'll then test it again. Okay, so let me run this again. Okay, let me refresh this. Okay, so I'm getting the result of this one. Don't worry about the cloud function now, but we will do something on cloud function later. So congrats, our local parser is working fine. Now we'll go to the dashboard to see what's there. So once I go dashboard, it will ask me the username and password. This is the same username. I put it here, here, this one. And password. So this is the dashboard. Don't worry about this game score. This was created because I created that test.html by somewhere on the internet. It creates this file. So don't worry about the game score. So you have basically this user as a table. So whenever I create the user registration, all the detail will go into this user. And whenever we create a new table, it will appear here. So this is the browser, and we will explore more this when we create more data here. Okay, right now, for example, game score has some data in it. Okay, so this data is there in the game score, but this game score was created by the test file. So we don't, I don't want to really go into deep of the game score because I did not see what is there in the game score. I just copied from internet that this file is there. So don't worry about the game score. We don't need it in our application. User is something definitely we will use it, and all the user registered on our website will be appear in this user table. Okay, and this user table will have all the users. So this is all about dashboard. We will go through this dashboard again and again because all data which we use in our ParseServer will appear here, and we will go to this dashboard to see it how it looks like. This without MongoDB, ParseServer will not work. So anything, even dashboard, or even if you want to start the ParseServer, you have to install MongoDB first and then set up the ParseServer to see all ParseServer running. Okay, so this one was all about today. As you have to set up this ParseServer today, don't delay all the things, because if you think that you will do on weekends, then a lot of things will happen every day. You will be lost if you don't do at regular interval. So if you have any question, ask me. Otherwise, I'll see you.